for himself. But other than that, GPO announced Ope's on the way. Heal, ain't nobody worried about that shit. Ope's on the way. That's all you gotta worry about.
Why are we getting this? Why are we getting this? Why are we getting this? Not to compare and contrast, right? But Relsi's just showed off Drake's Devil Fruit. They just showed Drake's Devil Fruit. Look at it. It looks really good. Even within the teasers, they're showing things we want to see in a One Piece game.
Hey, genuine question. Who's gonna actually use this fruit?
I mean, you would have to be stiff as some sort of crack and cocaine to consume this fruit. It's just not viable in any way.
Welcome to another video. Today we will be discussing why the heal fruit can be so much more than it is shown to be. Now there's nothing wrong with adding a support fruit into the game, but what was shown wasn't up to standard to what it should and could be. In its showcase it is heavily implied that it is going to be a common fruit due to only having no more than 3 moves, and those moves being subpar to say the least. Before we get into it, let's do a quick overview. In the showcase, the 3 moves being E. Healing Support. A small orb that the user spawns and which rests over the shoulder, in which you have to make body-to-body contact with another user for it to even take effect. It's implied this move can also affect a manifold amount of users at once. Increased distance of a player also greatly dampens the effect of the healing effect. R. Healing Orb, a small orb that is thrown at another player to heal them, implied to have slight auto-tracking, decent range, and decent healing effect. Z. Healing Field. The user summons a medium AoE circle onto the ground that will heal anybody who is in the bound of that circle. All moves' healing effects vary and scale to one's max health. Now that the overview is done, let's break this down into various parts. Part 1. Ideas for a light revamp. And Part 2. Ideas for a heavy revamp. To simply improve the heal fruit, we can add a manifold amount of things. 1. Allow healing to affect other objects in the game aside from players. This would make the fruit a lot more viable in other aspects of gameplay. Various things that this can pertain to is ships and healing potions. Ships can be healed with the use of Healing Orb and Healing Field. This can be useful in ship farming, kraken farming, and basic gameplay when your ship is on low health. Healing potions can have 2 different routes for this. Route 1 is simple. Healing potions are buffed for the individual user. The healing effect of the potions will now scale with the fruit. Route 2 is something more bizarre. Healing potions no longer just affect the user. They affect others too. The user will throw down the potion onto the ground, shattering it to deal a single splash AoE healing effect on themselves and others around them. 2. Making healing support easier to cast onto other players. Instead of having to get body-to-body contact to activate the healing strand automatically attaches to your ally if you are at a reasonable distance from them. This makes the move way more viable than its prior iteration. The move's general function of being more effective while closer is a good mechanic, but casting the move so it can take effect needs to improve. 3. The user's passive healing is buffed to a certain extent, being more effective than the regular rate, either being a faster healing rate or a higher health being healed per tick. 4. Healing Field. Healing Field can have more than one effect depending on the situation. If you have health missing, you will simply get healed. If you are full health, you will get an extra health buff for 10 seconds. Almost like a shield. For example, if your max health is 500, it will temporarily increase your health by buffing it by 25%, giving an 125 health boost to the recipient or ally of the move. If the move is used on an enemy, it will have an adverse effect on them. It will drain their health and stamina. Although, to balance such a function out, it will only take 15% of their total health and 10% of their total stamina. This can at least give somewhat of an offensive move in its kit of support moves. The 15% health and 10% stamina will not go to the user's own health and stamina, but give a temporary buff to all Devil Fruit moves for the next 30 seconds. The more people that they drain at a time, the higher the effect of the buff on one's moves. Healing Field's area of effect, or AoE, should also be affected by the number of stat points you have in Devil Fruit. Similar to Bari, the more Devil Fruit points you have into it, the bigger area of effect it shall have. 5. Gripping effects. Gripping on allies will quickly revive your teammates when they are knocked down. This will speed up the time almost instantly for them to recover. This won't heal them fully, but only to the point of standing back up. Gripping enemies will give a small heal of 5% to the user's max health. That is all for part 1. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. Now on to part 2. To start off part 2, let's just scrap all the original moves made by the GPO development team and start from a clean slate. Now let me ask you a question. What are the main ways the healing abilities are expressed in the show? Tears and flowers, so this is what we will be basing this on visibility-wise. And taking heavy inspiration from the actual moves from the show, let's get into it. Number 1, Tears of Relief. The user begins to cry and starts to produce tears with healing properties. The user can use these tears to heal themselves and heal other players if they are in a close enough proximity towards them. If the user happens to have no one to heal, including themselves, the tears will be stored to be used in the following moves: Rehabilitation Tankard. This move will use that extra accumulation of tears and store them in the tankard. A bar will be provided to show how much tears in total you have, a tear meter. The longer you hold down on the move, the more tears it will pour out. There should be a limit to how much you can store in the tankard due to it having high potential to be abused, but that limit can be decided on the number of devil fruit points you have. Another way to discourage abuse is, the more tears you store, the heavier and slower you become. The storage of tears can also be used in this upcoming move. Healing Hands. Healing Hands is a move that uses a decent amount of tears from your reserves. By coating your hands in healing tears, you can do a variety of things. Healing your allies by touch, but this is already a basic function that Tears of Relief does. What is different about it? Unlike Tears of Relief, you have more mobility and options to usher a heal. With Healing Hands, you can heal an ally by punching them. If they are down, you can carry an ally and heal them simultaneously. Also, if they're down, you can grip your ally, but instead of killing them, you almost instantly bring them back to 20% of their health over the course of the grip animation. Like you are doing CPR. Now let's get into the flower-based moves, starting off with Field of Flowers. You will sprout yellow dandelions from the ground. If an enemy walks over them or comes into contact with them, it will drain them of 0.5% health per flower and slightly stun them. The user can also harvest the flower for later use. This move can also be used as a field for allies to heal at. By sniffing a flower, it will give a small amount of health and stamina, but you will be vulnerable to attacks while doing so. Now you are wondering, what is the purpose of collecting the dandelions after casting Field of Flowers? The ultimate move. Dandelion Redistribution. This move will use all your gathered dandelions and a decent amount of tears. It can be 10 tears to cast 1 dandelion. A 10-to-1 ratio, 3 dandelions accounts for 1 person. The user will cast a big AoE circle, and this will temporarily give a maxed health bar on top of the existing one for 30 seconds. After the time runs out, so will the extra health bar. If the health bar runs out before the time, the effect will just wear off prematurely. Well, that is all for today's video. If you enjoy the content, please drop a like on the video. If you want to recommend any new ideas, please drop a comment down below. And if you want to continue seeing content like this, click that subscribe.
I mean, you would have to be sniffing some sort of crack of cocaine to consume this fruit. It's just not viable in any way.